It's meant to be. It'll be. It'll be. So won't you ride with me? Ride with me. See where this thing goes. If it's meant to be. It'll be. It'll be.
I like that song. If it's meant to be, it'll be. Nah, sometimes you have to make that. Sometimes you got to make that happen. Anyway, it is 6:30. I'm on time. It is July 10th. I hope everyone is feeling well. We've had a week of trading. Actually, every week different setups happen. You know, the only way you're going to see the setups and the only way you're going to execute is if you're prepared. The only way you're going to be prepared is if you get up early, have a routine, and you know you have to like the routine. If you don't do it, you're not going to do it every day. You know, this morning I woke up, went in the sauna. There's no 25-20 this week because Conrad is on vacation. I was supposed to be in Israel, but I still go in the sauna. I do it every day. Today I listened to Manifest. Who here manifests? I thought Manifest was a great video. It talks about how you can't go somewhere physically unless you see it in your mind, unless you emotionally could feel it, and then all of a sudden your mind takes your body where it should go. You know, and then the self-talk, like you could say, I might do this, maybe I'll do that, or you say, I will do this, or I will do that, and then all of a sudden you do it. So there's a lot of, you know, talk out there and a lot of ways you could just become better at doing things if you just change little things. So anyway, for those of you who have been in the 630 Club since 2020 and I've made you a ton of money or provided a ton of value, you know, come the fall, we're going to be merging a bunch of things. So if you want to subscribe above to get grandfathered in, be my guest. Otherwise, roll the dice, my dogs. And we don't roll the dice in the market. We become strategic and planned. And if you look here, all of a sudden, everyone thought we were going to be done. And what happened? You know, this was July 4th. We came in, tested the 8-day. We didn't even get to the 21-day. Kind of held there on Monday, digestion day Tuesday, and yesterday we perked up. And a lot of really good action. I've been focusing on the XBI this week, you know, with power plays and the alpha team, and all of a sudden, finally, a nice money trade. Isn't it nice when that happens? Isn't it nice when that candle goes like that to the bears? Anyway, it's giving you some clues, a lot of higher lows, and all of a sudden got very tight. I was talking this week about, you know, the $86 calls that we were buying for like 45 cents, and what a nice move. You know, I said 89.50 is probably where it goes. It took back the 200-day and hit 87.91. What a really nice money trade. And that's a different type of trade. That's like a, you know, a girthy trade. And then sometimes you have a girthy trade. What's girthy? Girthy is like big and bulky and fun. You know, anyway, and then and that's what this was here. And then you have like add-on trades. So if you remember 2 weeks ago, I was on Stock Spaces with a few of the young lads, and we were talking about a girthy trade through 146. And guess what? It was a girthy trade because you had to get through all these spots. Major. And we made a lot of money that day. That was a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden, you know, earlier this week, if you were aware and your mind was right, you'd have seen that the NVIDIA held in so much better than anything else, while the SPYs was testing the 8-day or the Qs or whatever it was. You know, NVIDIA didn't even get down here. So what were the dogs doing? We were buying the 160 calls. I was adding more NVIDIA. And then yesterday you had to move to 164. And that is what you call an add-on trade. That's not a girthy trade. That's just an add-on trade. But that kind of trade can make you a lot of money. I subscribe to your pages that give me access. No, that's not Redler Premium. Redler Premium is where I spend the entire day. Like you guys get 20 minutes, which is a little taste. That's what the 630 Club. Redler All Access has a private Twitter, gets to see my positions multiple times throughout the course of the day. It gets about 30 charts. You guys get about 4 or 5. And the Alpha team is even different. You know, they get to hear me on the radio talking, and they get all to talk. They're able to talk amongst themselves, and there are a lot of bright minds in the Alpha team. Some of them, you know, add more value than I do. It's great. So that's what a community is about, right? If you have a strong community, 1,000 eyeballs can be better than 2. You know, if you trade in your house and all you're doing is sitting there, it's hard to have the confidence to execute unless you really, unless you really have conviction on it. So what the Alpha team does is it helps with the conviction, you know, where, you know, some things trigger and everyone likes it and they talk about it and they're prepared for it. It's easier to get involved. Kind of like with NVIDIA yesterday. We were all in NVIDIA yesterday. We were all in the XBI yesterday. And look at IBIT. That's a nice little move here, too. I've been talking about this tight pattern in the IBIT, which is Bitcoin, for a week. I thought there would be a Bitcoin July 4th holiday. I came back and everyone was beating the hell out of me. Red dog, no July 4th holiday, da 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 da, smack, smack, smack. I'm like, all right, you know what? We want your money back. Anyway, it wound up being a great way to add to positions. And now I think over, it's just a matter of time for IBIT to take out 63.70 and go. I'll be buying a dip today. And Ethereum, which everyone's talking about, is getting better too. I was buying Ethereum calls in here. Nice push. At some point, it probably gets up to here, fills that gap, and it's not even anywhere, where it could have been. Yeah, Joe Repisol, you were crying about Mister. You were saying it's a pain in the ass. I get it. It is a pain in the ass, but when it's good, it's good. And here's Mister. Mister looks like it's ready to take out 415, 430, can get to 445-ish, and it's not even at the highs. I'm in MSTU because I'm being a little lazy, so I'm just, plus I have so many positions going on. I just want to be in this, and I think at some point it'll get to 1047. That'd be nice. It'd be nice. We get it there. And then what do you have here? 1374. So MSTU is looking pretty good. Yeah, so Nelvis, you always want to beat up something. Did somebody pee in your Cheerios when you were a kid? Anyway, yes, XRP is doing well. You don't have to kiss all the babies. So shoot me for being an IBIT, ETH, which one am I in? I'm in ETHE and Mister. I'm not in XRP also. I'm not a mutual fund. I'm not the Red Dog Mutual Fund. But anyway, you are doing well. I'm only kidding. I'm sorry. It's my insecurity, Nelvis. But anyway, you're right. It's been doing well. But you give it to me after the fact. You know what? Get in there and say, this is setting up. This looks good. Let's go into what's setting up. What's setting up today? Where are you going to make money today, Nelvis? Let's give it to everybody. By the way, this is if you are on YouTube or you're on Twitter, we could all talk together. So these are a lot of the guys. You did give me CRSV, but you know what? I didn't have that. But instead, what I did is I did the XBI because, again, it's about bandwidth and what you can handle. By the way, you guys see this? What's going on right here? MP up 47%. That's a materials. Wow, look at that. I guess it's more the rare earth type stuff. But anyway, A-Lab. Okay, let's take a look at A-Lab. Palantir, I'm not really that interested. I'm not interested in what's it called, Tesla. Tesla is a battleground. Takes way too much energy, and there's no way to really handicap Tesla. Tesla's a pain. Look at that. Tesla is not, look, when Tesla's above the 80 and the 21 day, Elon's a genius. When it's below it, he's a wonky weirdo. No, I'm kidding. It's a little hard right now. I don't care. AI, yeah, AI has been a good trade for some of you guys. AI broke out again. I remember I made really good money in those options, but I haven't really gone back to it. I probably could have, but again, it is what it is. By the way, do you guys see the move in the cannabis names that I put out there? Remember I put that article 2 weeks ago and I started buying September, October MSOS? Look at that little move. Made 100% of those options. We'll see if it works towards the 200-day. MJ also, even though it's been in a 10-year bear market, all of a sudden right around here looked good. And just a trade. There's a trade in the life of a trade. It's not a girthy trade like a girthy trade, but a good trade. Anyway, I think this is kind of interesting. The CRWV, if you guys want to take a look, is getting kind of tight here. Went to 187. It's, kind of not great yet. Let's make CRWV great again. I'm kidding. Heavy call buying Adam Bush. Okay. So I think, I went out and I bought some 165 calls here. There's some news that Ant Group is doing something with Circle, with the stable coin. So, put that on the radar. It's been acting a little bit better, not so great. Netflix, I'm not going to be insulting Netflix. But Netflix, yeah, you can't cry about Netflix. Now Netflix actually looks like it's resetting up again here. Netflix, when they started the third quarter, they sold a lot of the winners, to rotate. And this got sold a little bit, but it's holding the 21-day. This has been above the 21-day for months. So if you've been buying Netflix on the 21-day, you're getting Kachingo paid, right? Anyway, looks pretty good. As long as it holds 1260, maybe gets above 1302, but it's something I'm not doing. Oracle's only up. Yeah, Oracle's been great. My hedge fund guys have been buying the hell out of this thing, and they love it. You could have been buying versus ProGap which I put out there all the time, versus 188. It's been above the 8-day. So not even testing the 21-day. So crazy. Oracle, right? It's like, old school. It's like we're doing it like 1995. Everyone's scared from Tesla. What about Scott? You don't need to be there, Ram. If you've been in Tesla, you're doing nothing here. You're making no money. If you're investing in it for a decade, congratulations. But if you're trading it, it's not the place to be trading. I'm sorry. RDW has been a pain in the ass, excuse my French, but it's getting tight here. I have some options on. If it could poke its head above this spot on heavy volume, I will be buying a lot more of that RDW. A lot of the guys love this thing. They also love ACHR, but it's been a pain also. It's not really doing much. These are like side trades. If you're in a portfolio approach because the SPYs are above the 8 and 21 day, it's not really a focus. They're just side trades. But I do have ACHR on, and I do have RDW on. I do have this ASTS has been a little tough. I'll be honest. I got rid of it into this spot. I think I was done with it right here into the 48s. So I missed the high, which is great. Broke the upper flag, broke this, and I started buying a little bit in here. So I did say on the way down, I want to buy some options for August, because on the way down, you could buy options on the bid instead of paying the spread. So I'd rather accumulate some options thinking that this stock's not done, which is what I started doing yesterday. And I also had the stock on, but the stock, is hitting the 21 day. What's it doing this morning? I do have probably more than I should, but it's up $1, so now I can manage it. For this to like do a king and queens, pattern and mess with everybody, would have to like take this out really fast. And what's that? That's 45.62. Here's 44.30. So we'll see. But again, if I was just trading that yesterday, I would have been pulling my hair out, and I'm losing some hair right here. So I can't pull any more of those bad boys out. But anyway, so we'll see if it gets a better, or it might have to test 39. And then at that point, the 50-day would move up, and then you can get into a full position. Anyway, with that being said, what about Reddit? I think people have been complaining how Reddit's a pain in the butt. Yeah, it's not really doing much. It did peak at 164. It's trying to hold the 21 day. It looks fine. Scott, you the GOAT? Oh, I love that. I'm not the GOAT. I'm the red dog. But anyway, some of you guys like, what's the subscription button for it? So I started a company called Red Dog Mindset, where I've seen probably 1,000 traders come through the markets, and I've seen a small percentage of them stay. And most of the reason why is because they have a routine and process and a plan. They know how to work off a bad day. They know how not to get ahead of themselves on a good day and keep themselves even keel so they can last. I've been doing this for 30 years. So I became a little bit of a life coach, trying to help people get their morning routine in their process. Typically, there's a 25-20 where people do a workout with me in the morning, where I talk about the day, talk about what I'm looking at, and think about life a little bit, and then combine that with the 6:30 club, so you get your mind right for the X's and O's. So anyway, come the fall, we're merging a bunch of things, and if you want to subscribe, get grandfathered in. If you made money, even yesterday, all you had to do was watch the 6:30 club. You could have bought the XBI, and you could have made thousands of dollars. Thousands. Anyway, or not. So with that being said, what other setups? I think Meta looks good. I bought Meta yesterday. I think there's, they've been in the news a lot lately about, advancing their AI and this and that. At least he's, so anyway, whatever. I bought it yesterday. I think it takes out to 747. It's not as much of a pain in the ass as Amazon. I like this. They sold it down a little bit because of the new quarter. But anyway, so Meta to me looks good. I think Meta, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I hate casinos, I would think that this takes out 747.90. QBTS, it's a little annoying. The quantum names they're fine. Again, this can't be like the girthy trade. This needs to be like a side trade. So again, if you're in 10, 15, 20 names because things are trending, which they are, you could have some things on the side that are working for you while you look for triggers. What's a trigger? Now, when you get pissed off and you slap somebody, a trigger is like XBI. This was a trigger right here. Don't get triggered. Think twice about it. Control your mind. Don't let your mind control you. But anyway, before you say something and let it out in the universe and you can't get it back, always take an extra breath. Anyway, so here's 86-ish. This nice move to 87. So that's a trigger. You know what? IBIT, want to see a trigger? This was a trigger right here. For me, it was a trigger to get above this little spot and hold the 8-day. Here's another trigger. Anyway, Robinhood's been exceptional for the guys on the alpha team. I haven't really been trading it much, but you have a nice upper bull flag right here. This looks good. And guess what? It's holding the 8-day moving average, trending very, 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 very. Did I say very? Yeah, very. Did I say very? Very nicely right here. Look at that. Anyway, Robinhood looks good. What a play. I put this on the A list starting here. Hopefully this continues going. So public, which I helped finance way back in the day, goes public, and then Red Dog's going to Sizzler, and I'll take all of you with me. If public goes public, we're all going to Sizzler. Or I'm kidding. Anyway, any thoughts on PRME? I have no idea what that is. When Elon Musk was asked who he thinks is the smartest person, he did say Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison's very smart. It's true. Oh, that's a good song. You ever hear this song? Here it goes.
Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better.
Anyway, I like that song. What I do is I sit here and I listen to music. I drink my iced coffee and I do about 40 different charts and I settle myself down and I have a fun morning. If you're going to listen to CNBC and listen to Bloomberg and listen to all these people who think they know what they're doing because they're reading a script and a teleprompter, you're probably not doing so well. So anyway, I think most of you guys have adopted a really good routine and process. So I get that. I appreciate you. AMD, I haven't been trading AMD. That's got a little, new trend that it's been going through. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need it. I don't need that in my life. You know what? Some guys are pointing at SMCI. That's interesting. Looks like it's on its way to 56. Microsoft, wow, Microsoft's been a crazy leader. I've been using Microsoft more as a leading indicator. It's been above the 8-day this entire time. So all of you who say that Trump's an idiot, this isn't going to end well, you know what, and you've been short the first half of this year and you're down a lot of money, well, maybe you should learn some technical analysis and get rid of your opinions and follow trends and learn a process. Anyway, I'm in that kind of mood today. I'll see you later.